Hey, good evening. The question I want to answer tonight is this. Did Jesus ever claim to be God? Now, some people say, well, Jesus never claimed to be God. But is that really true? And why do they say that anyways? Well, I think they say it because they only want to see Jesus as a good teacher, a prophet, or a rabbi. So, the question is, did Jesus make claims of divinity? Did he claim to be God? Well, let's look at a passage and see. This is Philippians chapter 2, starting at verse 5. This is what Paul writes. In your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus, who being in the very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking on the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. Now here Paul clearly teaches that Jesus is equal with God, meaning that he is God. God took on human flesh. That's what this passage is about. We call this the incarnation, where God became man. So this phrase he uses, being in the very nature God. Jesus has the unique qualities that make God God. He is God. The second thing we see from this passage is he didn't go after deity. He didn't take upon himself deity. He already was deity. What he took upon himself was human flesh. So, that's what Paul says about Jesus. But did Jesus himself claim to be God? And the answer is yes. Let me show you. So in John's Gospel, chapter 8, starting at verse 56, it says this. This is Jesus speaking. Your father Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day. He saw it and was glad. The Jews said, you are not yet 50 years old, and you have seen Abraham? Very truly I tell you, Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am. At this they picked up stones to stone him. But Jesus hid himself, slipping away from the temple grounds. So Jesus makes a startling statement here, a statement so bold that the Jews picked up stones to stone him. Why? What did he say? Well, he was claiming to be God. And you might say, well, where did he do that? Well, let me show you. He says this. He says, before Abraham was born, I am. In other words, he's saying, before Abraham existed, I already existed. Now, this statement at face value shows that Jesus is claiming to exist before Abraham. The only way that's possible is if he is God. But there's more. Jesus uses a phrase that the Jews were well aware of as the very name of God. The name is I am. Let me show you where we find this name used of God for the first time in the Old Testament. We need to go back to the book of Exodus. God calls a man named Moses to go down to Egypt and to tell the Pharaoh, let my people go. He's to go tell the people of Israel that God is going to deliver them, that Moses is going to be their deliverer. God is going to use Moses to deliver them and take them out of the slavery in Egypt and bring them into the promised land. Now, through all of this conversation that Moses has at a burning bush, Moses asks God, what should I say to the people of Israel and to Pharaoh when they ask, who sent you? This is where we pick up the account. This is from Exodus chapter 3, verse 13. Moses said to God, suppose I go down to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they ask, what is his name? Then what should I tell them? And God said to Moses, I am who I am. That is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent you. You see, I am is the divine name of God. It talks about his eternality, that he has no beginning, he has no end. He just is. I am. So when Jesus used this name, he was claiming to be God. The Jews clearly understood this. and they began to look for stones to stone him because he claimed to be God. If Jesus wasn't God, he was saying what he was saying was blasphemous, and that's the way the Jews took it. He's claiming to be God. Jesus has another encounter with the Jews, again in the Gospel of John, and they pick up stones to stone him. He asks them this time why they are stoning him. Let me pick up that account. This is John chapter 10, verse 31. Again, his Jewish opponents picked up stones to stone him, but Jesus said to them, I have shown you many good works from the Father. For which of these do you stone me? We're not stoning you for any good work, they replied, but for blasphemy, because you, a mere man, claim to be God. Now, you don't need to look too far to see that Jesus is claiming to be God. The people around him clearly understood what he was claiming. They're ready to put him to death for that. They're ready to stone him. They are so clear, they're willing to stone him because he's claiming the name of God, I am. There's 3 places in the New Testament where the deity of Jesus Christ, his godness, is clearly taught. Now here's the thing. You can choose to reject his claims of godness, that he is God, but you can't reject that he made those statements. So I hope this clears it up, that yes, Jesus claimed to be God, and the people around him understood what he was claiming, and came to a place a couple times where they sought to stone him because of his claims. Hey, I hope you have a great